This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
First of all, Fitz, let's go over his experience 2 days ago, finding out that he is no longer the starting quarterback of your Miami Dolphins. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. All right.
Hey, Fitzy, obviously, the news is of the QB change. What was your first reaction when you heard, and what do you think that means for you going forward?
I was shocked by it. It definitely caught me off guard, and it was a hard thing for me to hear yesterday. Just kind of digesting the news. My heart just hurt all day. Like it was heartbreaking for me. And Flo kind of said what he said and said what he said to you guys as well. And that's the decision and the direction that the organization is going in. And obviously, we've talked in the past, me and you guys, about, how I'm the placeholder, and this eventually was going to happen no matter, it was just a matter of kind of when, not if. And it still just, it broke my heart yesterday. And, it's a tough thing for me to hear and to now have to deal with, but I'm going to do my best with it.
Adam, a two-part question, if I could, Fitz, and I appreciate your candor. One, did you informed by the team, or did you find out from news reports? And two, do you feel like you did enough to keep the job?
I found out. Flo called me to his office, and we talked, and he's, with everything last year and this year, everything, he's real upfront and honest, and, likes to have those face-to-face conversations. So I definitely appreciate that. I think that the second question is irrelevant. Just not that it's a bad question to ask, but, that's the decision that was made. So there's not a whole lot, I could do about it other than just move forward and kind of accept my new role and try to embrace that and do the best I can to help the team win in that role.
Softer.
Hey, Fitzy, I think the timing definitely shocked us as well, with you guys being second place in the AFC East and 3-3, kind of looking towards a playoff spot here. I guess how do you kind of move forward, knowing that maybe you were pulled a little bit too early, or maybe pulled when you weren't expected?
There's a lot of stuff going through my mind yesterday, just from a personal standpoint, not necessarily, with the team, but, is this it? Like, was that, my last game as an NFL player in terms of, being the starter and going out there and playing, and you just kind of go through all those different scenarios. I mean, I've been, starter, I've been benched all kinds of different ways, but this one just really, more so than any of them, I think this organization and what we've been through the last year and a half, this was kind of the first place other than Buffalo where I just felt fully, committed and invested and felt like it was my team, and so to have that, I think that's a lot of the reason why my heart was so heavy yesterday, but, that's the direction that the organization's going, and, I've just got to accept it.
Al?
Fitz, this is kind of a hard question, but out of my respect for you and the way you have addressed Tua, I would ask you if you have had a chance to talk to Tua and how that may have gone so far.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked. This profession is interesting in that, I basically got fired yesterday, and then my day of work today consisted of me, in Zoom meetings listening to the guy that fired me, and then, locked in a spaced out room, with my replacement for 4 hours today. So there aren't a whole lot of jobs that are like that, but I know how difficult it is to play the quarterback position. And I know that room is so important to the guy that's playing in terms of everybody having your back and pulling in the same direction. So, today's the day to digest a little bit, and we'll get away for the bye a little bit. But, once this thing starts up again, I've got to do my best for Tua to help him out, because there's two separate situations here. One is with Tua, and I want him to do well, and I think he's a great kid, and I think he has a really bright future. And the other one is, my feelings and just kind of what I'm going through, and that has to be separate from when I walk into this building and, help him out. I've got to separate those feelings from, trying to be a professional and help him out as best I can.
Now, let me tell you something here. I really respect Fitz a lot, okay? And this is coming from a guy that thought, this is no big deal. This is just a bridge. This is just a jag coming in. And, hey, let's just get to Rosen. That's what I was thinking. And he's turned out to be a lot more. Now, let me clarify something, because I think I think sometimes we're unfair in our world. We cannot ask people to be honest, and then when they tell you how they really feel, we can't then criticize them, because some people are criticizing Fitz for talking about, hey, I was fired, and I'm sitting there looking at the guy on Zoom that fired me, and then I'm next to the guy that replaced me, and so he's supposed to feel that way. He's a competitor. If he didn't care, then it would be disturbing in a way. You know what I mean? I love that he cares. And I love that he played really, really hard for this team, and he sold out. And he knew that it was coming, but he probably didn't expect it now. Neither did you, neither did I. Most of us didn't. We didn't see this coming. Nobody saw this coming. The way things were developing, we thought the change was coming down the line. But it comes now. And so I respect and admire the fact that Fitz talked about, because, see, if he's a phony and says, hey, guys, it is what it is, I'm all right with it, I'm here to support Tua, you would have said BS. You're not all right with it. So he's telling you he's not all right with it. It sucked to him. It hurt him. You know what I mean? And I have no problem with that. But he's mature enough to compartmentalize everything and then say, okay, I've got to separate. It's two things here. It's my feelings and what's going on, and then the team and making the next step with Tua. So he told you that while he's disappointed, he now has to focus on helping Tua and helping the team, because that's what he's all about. Because when they had this conversation last year, when they said, hey, Fitz, yeah, we'll bring you back, but remember, we're going to try to develop a young quarterback at one point or another. So if it wasn't going to be Josh Rosen, it's going to be Tua. And if it's not Tua, it's the next guy. But Fitz knows that he's not the future. But it is a moment where they kind of pulled the rug from under you. But I will say this, I appreciate the honesty. I'd rather people be honest, even if it's something that you didn't really want to hear, but I'd rather you do that than just lie, circumvent, mislead, whatever. Okay? And so I think the way he's handled it, I think it's beautiful, man. I really do, and I really appreciate it. I appreciate everything he's done for the Dolphins. He did a lot more than I ever expected. One of the listeners on Onside Radio this morning, when I was doing the show from 11 to 1, he said, I'm going to buy a Fitz jersey for the hell of it, because just in honor of the guy. And you know what? I think that's a cool thing.
It'd be like buying a Strock, right?
Yeah, I just like.
I want this guy to be here, I want him to stay, man.
Not as much as Strock, but in that sense.
Yeah, obviously, 10-year service, Strock.
Yeah, Strock was amazing.
Yeah.
So, but it's not like I'll laugh at you if you're wearing an AJ Feely jersey, but I'm not going to laugh at you if you're wearing a Ryan Fitzpatrick jersey. Put it that way, okay? You're wearing a Deion Jordan jersey, I'm laughing at you. You're wearing a Ryan Fitzpatrick jersey, I'm going to say that's a cool Dolphin. He appreciates what that guy did because he won me over, man. He won me, and I have no problem with the change. I get it. It was going to come. I probably would have rather had the change a little bit down the line. As you all know, I'm on record for that. But I understand this because Flo must have seen something. That coaching staff must have seen something that said, no, he's ready. He's ready to go. All right, let's continue.
Cam?
Hey, Fitz, I appreciate you just kind of sharing this emotion. I know it's probably not easy to kind of talk through this. You mentioned just the thought of, was this my last game? I just kind of wanted to get the gauge of how that conversation has been like with you and your family about just, obviously you put so much emotion and energy into this. Have you guys started to have that conversation and just think about what that all means?
No, I mean, those are just things running through my head, but that's, this, you just never know in this league, and to me, those conversations at this point aren't really worth having. There'll be a time and a place for that, but, they've always been obviously very supportive of me, and, they are in this journey together with me. So, it's nice to have that kind of support. And it's hard this day and age. My two boys in middle school, they don't get to find out from dad. They get to find out, through a friend. They got a text message. So that part of it is just the world we live in now. But, they probably drop me from their fantasy teams. But other than that, they still love me.
We'll take two more, Barry.
Hi, Ryan. A, did the idea of asking for a trade cross your mind? And B, could the idea of being a long-term backup to Tua, including next year, even though you don't have a contract for next year, could that idea grow on you and ultimately be appealing to you?
I have no idea. I mean, I don't go in there and demand or ask for anything. And in terms of the other stuff, the long-term future, I have no idea. I know that I just love playing this game. I love being out there and the camaraderie that brings, and dealing with the adversity with your teammates, and those are the kind of things that I truly love about this game. So I definitely like playing more than I like sitting and watching.
All right, last one, Joe.
Fitz, obviously, you're going to be ready to play. There's always the chance that you could have to go in, injury, any reason. How is it explained to you relative to the permanence of this decision?
I mean, we didn't really get into that, but last year when Josh went in, I feel like that was a different situation. He was either gonna sink or swim, and I ended up back in the lineup. And this is a different situation. I mean, you draft a guy, 5th overall and put him in. This isn't a temporary. I mean, this is a forever decision. This is a long-term decision. So, I think those two situations are very different. And I mean, I'm always, I'm always ready to go, and I could probably come out of the stands and play in 5 years if I needed to, but without picking up a football, But that's just, again, accepting the role that I've now been given and trying to do the best I can in that role.
You could tell he's not happy with it, obviously, and he shouldn't be. He's a competitor. He wants to play. When Barry asked him about, coming back as a coach and all of that, you can tell that he's the guy that gets the high from playing. He's got 866 kids at home. When he retires, he will be hanging out with his family. It's either football or his family. I don't think he's going to stay away from his family to coach. So for those of you that think that maybe he'll take a coaching job, he just doesn't look like it. And he kind of said it in a way that, it's playing is what gets him. And that's why he's so dejected, because he probably wasn't expecting this until later in the season, just in case they struggled. But the problem is, here's where this whole dynamic becomes really interesting. Think about this, all right? Follow me now. You're 3-3. You have won 2 in a row. I believe you've won 3 of 4 now, if I'm correct. So you're playing pretty well, right? You've had 2 straight blowouts now. So things are looking good right now for you as the Dolphins. And I've talked about this the entire time. Well, you know what? They'll play Tua towards the end of the year when they're mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, or down the line when Fitz is struggling. Well, if you're a coaching staff and you're going, so we're going to put him in till the wheels fall off, we got a pretty good team. Wait a minute. This kid's wowing us in practice. He's doing everything in the meeting rooms. We just put him out there, and it was only 2 passes, but he made the right decisions and the right throws and converted the only 3rd down we had all game long. So, and Fitz was irresponsible with a couple of his deep shots that ended up intercepted. You know what? I think we can be better. So if your coach is thinking we can be better and we got a shot at the playoffs, why wait till you're eliminated from the playoffs? I think that's what the thinking is at this point in time. I really do.